I'm like, I know. Cool. I'm like, I know how to wear AirPod Pros because my daughter walks around with them all the time, and I'm like, can you hear me? And she's like, huh? I'm like, so you're not listening to me, are you? Anyway, what's up, healers? We are live. We're just over here having a full-blown conversation because that's just how we do it. I am with one of my besties in the business, one of my besties that's in the industry of network marketing, Kimberly Olson, also known as the Gold Digger Girl. I love your shirt, shine bright like a diamond. It's so pretty. I love it.
Well.
And your earrings are matching. Okay.
What's going on?
I love it. So here's the deal. We're going to give away some goodies during this. I'm going to give away some swag and all kinds of good stuff. So you simply just need to tag your homies and share this and put shared in the comments, and that will enter you into winning. What's up, Laura? So excited to have you guys here. So we're going to, let's just keep it 100, you guys. Kimberly's going to be speaking at the Slay Online Sales Summit. If you don't have your ticket, go to the title, get it. It's a no-brainer. Like, just let me just type it in and get that over with, like now, before I forget, because SlayOnlineSalesSummit.com. That's where you go. Get your ticket. It's $97 for 3 days full of 30 plus top earners. And Kimberly Olson is going to be sharing a lot about collaboration. And when I was thinking about a topic for you, collaborate. I can hear them. They're so cute. Are they
I told Marina, PTSD, my children are here. So
yeah. And we're totally fine with that because we're all moms, or we've all got life going on in quarantine. So hashtag no judgment. So if you hear the kids,
thanks.
Get out, let it, we'll all be fine. We're all good, right? So when I thought about a topic for you though, collaboration was definitely like the most important topic that I thought you could teach because you've done it so well over these past 3+ years. I've just watched you create relationships. But here's my part, right? You don't just collaborate because you're looking to tap into somebody else's network. You're actually doing it because you want them to tap into yours. And you are in such an abundant mindset with collaboration. So I figured we could really just have a real talk. But for those of my healers that have no idea who you are, which I don't know why they wouldn't, but if they don't, why don't you give a little bit of a background of who you are?
Sure.
And then we'll get on.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, if you are new, put new so I can say, hey, I'm known as the Gold Digger Girl because I've been trained under Marina to brand myself. And I met Marina actually in August of 2017. And it was Friday. There was a bully at my work and I was commuting 2.5 hours a day, working full time, and my babies were 1 and 2 at the time. So I just started network marketing, blew through my warm market, and people were telling me to cold message and I didn't like it. It felt gross. I wasn't getting anywhere, by the way. So it's a Friday. I got my car. It's 4:30. I had just overcome huge battle with alcohol addiction. Like I was like, let's see, I think I was 2-3 weeks of like sober. Like this is the beginning stages, right? And I was in therapy, so I had support. Sitting in my car, I'll never forget it. And I just had tears streaming down my face because it was like, I just didn't want to be there. My husband's like, you cannot quit. Like, we can't afford it. Like, you've got to do this on your terms. And I'm like, I know. Okay. Like, I want to be able to walk out of there, right? So I said, God, I will do whatever you say. Like, just show me what to do. This is not working. And I'm so coachable and hungry. I've got to change my story. I've got to change my family tree. We were at almost 6 figures of debt. And I never saw them. I would FaceTime in a doctor's appointments. And I'll never forget, our pediatrician's like, you're the most committed mom ever. And I'm like, I freaking suck is what I do because I'm FaceTiming into a doctor's appointment. Like, there's no pride in that, and I was just over it. So I prayed, that emergency Hail Mary prayer. And then next day, someone tagged me in your video and I caught you live. Like, I don't even know why, like maybe, I don't know, just angels. You were in a hurricane in Florida. And you're like, guys, okay, we're supposed to evacuate, but I told you I'd be here and I'm here. And I'm like, who is this crazy chick? And I was sucked in right away because you were so real. Like, no one was teaching the way you were teaching. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, yes, you're speaking my language. And you're like, guys, traction marketing, and you could build an audience. It's awesome. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I had no idea. I'm legit, like, no one in my company was teaching this. So I signed up right away. I binge watched. I was going on YouTube, looking at your old ass videos. I was like scrolling and I kept trying to find every video.
Been fun.
Yes.
Those
you were like in your
awesome.
room and you're like, guys, but they were amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was just like this breath of fresh air, answer to my prayers. So I got into your coaching program right away. I bought every course you had. I was like the replay girl, but I would implement everything you said. Like I would not allow myself to watch your next training until I implemented. And I had no time, right? No time. Oh. And so I started going live in the fall of 2017. And through, learning about collaboration, basically, guys, if you don't have an audience, you need to build an audience by connecting with others. That's what collaboration is. If you don't have credibility, you need to borrow the credibility until you have your own, because I didn't have an audience. I had 250 friends on Facebook. So started going live, very heavy in interviewing others when I started, and have grown the last 3 years to, we reach about 1 million people across all social media channels. I quit my job 2.5 years ago, been sober 3.5 years. I work from home now. We're going to pass $1 million in revenue this year. I was recognized as the top recruiter in my company at my level this year. So lots of amazing good things have come from it. But the most important thing is I learned how to be myself. I learned how to show up authentically, and I learned how to build a business in a way that feels amazing to me. And I attract the exact people I want to work with by doing this. And it's literally been life-changing. And you are the reason. I mean, you were the answer to my prayers for that day. So thank you for everything that you've done for me and everything.
Oh my gosh. If you make me cry, the fake lashes are going to fall off.
I have fake ones on too. That's why.
I know. I'm like, they're literally going to fall off if I make any movement, because they're not on. Don't move. Well, I love you. And first off, I just want you to know, like, I was just so proud of seeing your growth, and just even more seeing your growth, and your name just comes up all the time with people. And that's powerful. But you've done that not just because you've put into action. You also have this incredible integrity, and that I've noticed, and I appreciate. So thank you so much for just being so awesome. Before we get into what we're going to talk about, I'm going to give away a Slay Online Sales Summit shirt right now to someone who shared. So 1, 2, 17, stop. And that would be Laura. Laura, yay. Congratulations. We just won a Slay Online Sales Summit shirt. Laura Moncada. Let me write that down, because Marissa's going to be like, who? What? Who are we getting that with? So just email support@momsandheels.com to receive your goodies. So excited for you. All right. So let's talk about borrowing authority. So one of the things that I absolutely love that you actually just brought up right now was borrowing authority. Can you kind of explain, what does borrowing authority on social media even mean?
Yeah, for sure. And these principles can apply to teaching a new person, or if you're new, building your network marketing team. If you don't have a team yet, you don't have that success yet, you can use these principles to be able to get that street cred on social media. And we're going to do all the tactical, like actually how do you do it in the event, but these will be more of the concepts around it. And so what we want to do with borrowing authority or credibility is, when you are around other people that are successful, even though you don't realize it, they don't realize it, the people watching you don't, it's very subconscious and psychological, they actually associate you with that success. So here's an example. Courtney Epps is somebody who spoke in an event I was at. She's a tax professional. And when she said, I've spoken on stage with Tony Robbins, I was like, I want to work with her, right? Why? I didn't even know anything about her. I've never talked to her clients. I didn't go Google her. She said she'd been on stage with Tony Robbins. I'm like, success, right? So what you want to do is, if you don't have that authority yet, where you haven't, built up your Facebook Live presence, your audience, you don't have a thriving Facebook group going, like you don't have that yet. When you book interviews with people who are successful, then you will actually become successful by association. People will view you as successful by doing that. Isn't that so cool? It's like
that's track. So awesome. No, it is a fast track. And you did that so well. And I remember when you had asked me, well, how do I start building? And I was like, just start interviewing people. This is when Facebook Live allowed you to tap into each other's markets. You went ham. I think you were doing like 2 a day. You were like, oh, I'm in it to win it. Like, let's do this thing. So what would you say to someone who's like, okay, how do I borrow that authority? Like, give me an idea of what they could do, or something they could start doing before they learn all the goodies at the event. What are some things that they could do?
So think about in your space where you're at. So if you are in health and wellness, for example, you're going to think, okay, what would make sense for my audience to let them learn? Like you might say, gosh, well, I'm in health and wellness. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not a chiropractor. So what are some cool things that you could bring to your audience from someone else? So is there someone right? Or is there somebody that's, in your space that could offer value to your audience that you could interview? So what you're going to actually do is interview them. So you're not asking to go on to their audience. You're going to bring them to your audience. And like you said at the beginning, Marina, you do have to have an abundant mindset with this. Like I have literally interviewed people who are my direct competitors, but competition, the collaboration is the new competition. There's no such thing as competition. And I actually remember messaging you one time and I was like, I'm a little like, this is a great area. Should I interview this person? You go, abundant mindset, Kimberly. And I was like, you are right. I have my answer. So when you're not sure about that, you're like, oh, like I literally have interviewed people in other direct sales companies that are my competitors. And I've actually had people end up joining my team that I interviewed because they're like, I love this. I love the feel of this, the abundance. My company's not like this. Our team is not like this. This is awesome. So when you just go at it in a place of like, I want to bring value to my audience, think of it that way. Your audience is like, oh my gosh, I love tuning into Kimberly's interviews because I always learn something. And then the other people around you are like, wow, like this feels really good. It's always going back to the energy for sure, with me at least.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And the borrowing the authority part, so many of you that are watching this are so concerned about growing this massive following, but you've got to collaborate and bring that value that your audience even wants to see for them to keep paying attention to you. Because it doesn't matter if you have a following of 1 million, if they don't like what you're putting out, then they have nothing, they're not going to keep watching, right?
And I had a leader of another team, a company, and I said, oh my gosh, like I loved how she was just very like, she was in her bathroom or closet. Like she was just so real. She was a mom. And I was like, I would love to interview how you're doing this around a busy family. Or I think her husband was in the military. I mean, she was just momming hardcore. I interview her. She ends up sharing it into her team Facebook group of thousands upon thousands. And a lot of them started following me. And, eventually over time, a couple of them reached out and said, years later, right, came over and said, hey, I'm looking to add something to what I'm doing. I'd love to talk more about what you're doing. So she also had to have an abundant mindset to share this, right? And so when we do that, all of her people go, thank you for this training. This is amazing, right? And then my people are like, wow, it's so cool to hear from the leader who's crushing it. So it really always comes back to you tenfold, but you have to let go of the outcome and not expect anything, just like when you're building your business. It's the same concept for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, especially with social media, because people come and people go, right?
Yes.
And people are there might be people that are following you that don't connect with you, but you might be able to put them in contact with someone that they connect with.
Yes.
And that can be very powerful in so many different ways. So, all right, people need to be able to stand out though, right? So what would you say are some quick, easy things that you can give them to help them stand out a little bit better? So this way, when they do ask for collaboration, they're not like, oh, this person's sharing cat photos only and cat videos. Like, I don't want them interviewing me. Because honestly, I've been asked to be interviewed before, and I immediately go and I check their profile to make sure it's something that I'm in alignment with, right? Totally. To make sure that like I'm totally, because God forbid, you don't want to just say yes to everything, right? So people aren't going to just say yes to you. So what would you say are some like must things to have on your profile, or what are some tips?
That's a really good question. Like I do know how important that is, because it's just like automatic now, but you really have to go back to the basics. So I have had people ask me to interview me on their profile, and I've gone to their page, just like you said, to check. And if they have a good Facebook cover, so they got a little posture, a little swag, and this is key, guys, because I've been doing a lot of audits lately, you've got to make sure your Facebook cover is not blurry. With the updates and stuff, it seems like a lot of those pictures are just like, I don't know. So just make sure it's clear, it looks great, have someone do it, pay someone in Fiverr, go on Canva, make sure it looks good. But you want a little posture there with it. Even if you are becoming that person, act as if, right? Get into that space. And so we want to see, if you are network marketing, you can be a mompreneur, you're an entrepreneur, you're a brand influencer, you're a health and wellness coach, right? Or, whatever it is that you want to describe yourself as. Great Facebook cover. I want a great profile picture of just you, not you and your 5 cats. And so you just share, because this is the thing. You have got to brand yourself. It cannot be you and your kids or all of that. They're great, but not that profile picture. And then put a description on there. I always share Karen Louise is a great person I always use hers as my demo. So if you want like a one-liner that's just powerful, she's like, I amplify and I activate your soul essence, and you're like, sign me up. So she would be a good one to pop over and look at. Obviously, you can look at Marina and I's profiles, but we want to know a little bit about you, share a little bit, but make sure it's clean. Make sure your profile's got some great content. And again, if you're just starting, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you clean up the old, high school photos or anything that's not serving you, and make sure we're seeing you on there. All the things that you're teaching, obviously, and that you'll be teaching at this event, but it does come down to back to the basics. They are going to absolutely do a little digging. They're going to check your profile, show up, posture up a little bit, show up like a boss, and you'll attract the exact people that you want to work with.
That's one of the main things we're focusing on at this event, is creating that posture, the presence, and the plan, right? And so one of the things that I want you to take away from watching this is people aren't going to look at your profile necessarily, look at your comments and likes, even though you think they are. That's not what they go to first. They're actually looking at you, because if you send a friend request to someone, they're coming back and looking at your profile to see, is this someone I relate to? Or is this someone that I want to follow? Or is this someone I look up to? So you've got to have that posture. You've got to posture up, or you're going to stay stuck. And when you go to do that collaboration, no one's going to raise their hand and be like, yeah, I want to collaborate with you because you got cat pictures everywhere. And I keep saying that. I don't know if you guys can tell I'm not a cat person. I don't know how many people are going to unfollow. Yeah, I don't know how we are too. I don't know how many people are going to unfollow me over that. I'm sorry. I am a dog human. So,
but it's true though. Like, you don't want your cats, you don't want your pets, you don't want to share other people's content all day long. And, you don't have to have already had this success, but this is the thing. You don't want it to be a secret what you do. Again, I'm sure you do this with audits. So many people, I go to their profile and it doesn't even say works at entrepreneur or brand influencer. I mean, there's nothing filled out. I'm like, people are going to come to your profile and not even know what you do. Like, people need to know you're in business. They need to know that you help others have success. And remember, you're telling a story. So even though you maybe haven't had that success yet, you're like, I haven't had a comma check yet, but you're working towards it, right? So I help others create financial freedom. I help people, monetize a side hustle. Like, whatever it is you do, you're helping people. It's an active, word. It's in progress, right? It's hashtag progress, not perfection. You don't have to have arrived. We've got to tell the story as you're in it. And people will be so drawn to you if you do it that way.
Absolutely. Well, I love it. I'm excited for your definite training at this event. Why don't you can you break down just like, okay, here's, what you can expect from your collaboration training. What can they look forward to when they join the summit?
Yeah. And I'll say, you guys, if you haven't got to the summit yet, if you want to, do you have the link? You can put it in there. Okay, so you guys need to register if you haven't yet. And I've been to a few virtual events that are over several days. And when I saw your lineup, Marina, I was like, yes, this is so well thought out. It's so planned. You guys, I'm talking like fire after fire after fire. Like, a lot of you are going to need a little bit of a reset after Black Friday, because this is what happens every year. Get super focused. Everyone goes bananas and they do nothing until January. And then they're like, oh, I lost all that traction. I'm so mad at myself. Don't be that person. So first off, y'all need to get there. I'm literally like so jazzed out of my mind out of this event. But in my specific, I'll be on day 2 at the beginning, or towards the beginning. At my specific, I'll be teaching you, how do you actually get your list of people you want to ask? Like, you're sitting here going, I'm afraid. I don't know. Like, is that okay? What's the script? So I'll tell you exactly who to reach out to. I'll tell you exactly what to say to them. And then I'm going to tell you how to rock that interview. Because if you just are not prepared and you don't understand how to promote it, what to do on camera with them, how to have the question, all that, you're not going to feel the posture. You're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I shot myself in the foot. We want you to rock this, and we want you to blow up from this. You can absolutely go from 0 to hero through the power of collaboration. It's all about getting more eyeballs on your stuff. And this is the fastest way to do it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'll be taking notes. That's for freaking sure. So I'm so excited.
Me too, on your stuff.
I know, I'm so pumped.
Everybody's stuff.
Oh hello. I will be here. I will be here. Well, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of the summit. Like I'm honored. Oh my gosh. I love you so much. So thank you for everything. Go spend time with your kiddos. Happy Thanksgiving. You guys don't forget to share this out because I'm telling you right now, you definitely want your humans to hear this. We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.